This program is sponsored by Auckland City Council. 9,461. The number of businesses in the Central Business District. 78,480. The number of people who work in those businesses.
Bill, the first Asia Business Action Summit out here. I mean, your thoughts on the changing times. Earlier we used to see Asians' involvement and the government's involvement into the Asian affairs from an entertainment perspective. Now serious business issues?
Well, I'm pleased that this summit is about business because for whatever the politicians say, it's going to be business that builds the relationship with the whole range of Asian markets and therefore with the Asian community. And I think we need to use our own New Zealand Asian community much better. These are a large and fast-growing group of people who know a lot about all of Asia because they come from all of Asia, reflecting all the differences that exist in those countries, and so they have a lot of intelligence, a lot of understanding, and I want New Zealanders to recognise that and use it as a resource for growing our businesses there and for helping governments, New Zealand governments, to understand better what rising Asia means.
What does the New Zealand's diversity, ethnic diversity, means to nationals?
Well, look, the ethnic diversity now is a fact and it's not a fear. I think in the past many New Zealanders have feared it, but there's now a generation who are quite at home with that ethnic diversity. They tend to be younger. I think a political leader like John Key represents that new generation who don't feel insecure about being a long way from the UK or worried about America, quite happy about being New Zealanders and the very particular diversity we have, which is unusual in the world. There's no other, for instance, no other mix of Polynesian and Asian as there is here.
Now, national, in order, like in the upcoming elections, what sort of package and mechanisms they have in order to speak to Asia from a business perspective?
Well, look, we will be a pro-business government, and I think the best thing we can do for New Zealand to take opportunities is make it easier for all our businesses to do business. We want to pitch that pretty directly to the Asian community, the Asian communities who are entrepreneurial, who take a long-term view about investment, who are often more family orientated than other New Zealanders. We want to talk to them directly because those are values and philosophies that sit right with where National wants to go.
But don't you think the contact with Asia, when compared with the government levels and the New Zealand as a whole, is not up to the mark as far as international standards are concerned?
Well, look, New Zealand's got a long way to go. As they've said here tonight, we've been slow out of the blocks. Some things we've done, the New Zealand government's done pretty well, like the free trade agreement with China, I think is great. But New Zealanders as a whole have been slow to pick up their understanding. They've been slow to get to grips with the fact that the new economic powers are Asian, not our traditional economic and political relationships. But we're getting there, and I think there's a generational change coming where people are younger New Zealanders have seen that in their daily lives, and so they're quite at home with it. And I think from here, New Zealand attitudes, New Zealand government attitudes are going to pick up pretty strongly.
Your impressions finally about the conference over here for 2 days?
Well, I'm just amazed how many business people have turned up here. I mean, often these conferences are talk fests where there's a lot of things said that are pretty predictable, but in this case you can see a wide range of people here, a lot of business people I haven't seen before who aren't in the normal political round that we do. They're turning up here because of a genuine interest and a genuine understanding, and that's a big step forward. I'm just surprised how many people are here.
This program was sponsored by Auckland City Council. 56,827. The number of businesses in Auckland City. That's 15% of all New Zealand businesses.